Welcome to Eat Well, Travel Better, the Business of Food Travel podcast with Eric Wolf and Ashi Vale, where we help you become a better industry professional by gaining inspiration from some of the world's most successful people in the food and beverage tourism industry. With each episode, we meet these leaders and examine their secrets of success. We reveal the obstacles and challenges they have faced, along with their solutions and triumphs, and give you ideas and inspirations for many of the same business issues that you may be facing as well. And now for today's episode. Welcome. I'm Eric Wolf, and I'll be your host today for episode 39 of Eat Well, Travel Better, the Business of Food Travel podcast. And joining me today is co-host Ashi Vale. Today we'll be speaking with Hans Entner. For 30 years now, Hans has welcomed guests at the Wiesenhof Destination Hotel in Austria's Tyrol region. Hans has been associated with ducks his entire life, and understandably so because his family name means duck in German. It is a theme that permeates every aspect of his life and business. Look for the duck logo on his website at wiesenhof.at. Welcome, Hans.
Welcome. Nice to talk with you.
Hi, Hansi. Can you tell us a little bit about the ducks in your life? It's quite interesting that your last name means it and you've incorporated into everything in the hotel. So I want to hear a little bit more about what it means to you.
Well, when I was a child, my nickname was Duck and I hated it. Until one of my brothers, and I have 5 of them, he worked as a designer, and he made that logo that we use now still over 30 years. And since we had that logo with the duck, the W for Wiesenhof and the duck and the stars, it wasn't further on a problem to be called duck. And so we made it to our a little bit humorous. We have ducks on the tables to hold the plates with the names of the guests. We have a lot of pictures of ducks. We have a lot of those ducks that you use for the bath tubes and all of that stuff. Run around wherever we had also real ducks here until the fox visited them, so we have none, but they will come back.
And how did you get into the hotel business?
Oh, I'm born in a hotel, so that the hotel is my home, and I'm the eldest of 6 children. And after I was on a boarding school with Franciscan monks, where we learned Latins and ancient Greek, which I really hated. I was looking for an alternative school where I had no Latin and no Greek, and so I tried to join on a tourism school, and that was all in all a lucky fortune, because now I love what I'm doing, and of course it was my parents' business and my grandparents, and in 2022 we'll be on the Wiesenhof since 100 years.
That's a phenomenal accomplishment. That is really fantastic. 100 years in the family. You must be so proud. And Hans, what is it like growing up in a hotel?
Great. Not really understandable for someone who does it not, because a hotel is a thing which is going 7 days a week. There is no 9 to 5 job from Monday to Friday. But if you grow up in the business, that's normal. And it's enormous comfortable, because who has in his apartment 2 swimming pools or 5 saunas or 13 waiters who are serving you food, and you don't have to wash your dishes during the season, and roommates and all of that. So that's very, very comfortable. But of course, those are all works that we also do when it's needed.
Are you able to turn it off and not go into hotel mode all the time, or is it just not possible to do that?
I don't want to turn off because I love what I'm doing. I mean, of course, we have the possibility to be private, to go on holiday, to go in the apartment and lock the door. That's, of course, that's. I mean, our hotel is big enough to have the comfort of an international 4-star superior hotel with more than 50 employees. But we are still small. That we know each other and that we are working as a big family. And the family atmosphere is, I think, one of the things that makes the Wiesenhof very special to our guests.
Antti, it sounds like you really enjoyed and truly love continuing to work at the hotel. However, I'm sure there are times when things weren't so great or you wish that you weren't in the hotel. Can you tell us about a time when it was challenging to live in the hotel and to also work in it?
In the moment, the last month since the Corona pandemic started, I think that's maybe the most challenging time of my life. I had a lot of challenges. 2 years ago, we had a fire where with a full hotel on the 27th of January, 118 guests in the hotel at 7:00 in the morning. The roof burned and 16 rooms have been totally destroyed in the middle of the season. So that was hard, but we know how to handle that, and then you have a plan, and you know what's going on after the renovation, and you know what you can tell the guests and your staff and all that. But that time that we have now, where no one knows what's really going on, you have not the right answers. And you have it, or you could not give the right answers because you don't know what they are. So that's in the moment, that's a real challenging time. But I think it's not only for a hotel; it's for many businesses.
Yeah, it certainly has affected everyone in the world. And how have you managed? I mean, has revenue come to zero? How did the bookings completely go away for the last few months? How has coronavirus really affected your hotel business?
Well, enormous. We had to close on the 16th of March by law with a full hotel, and we have been allowed to reopen end of May. We opened on the 12th of June. What I'm really missing are all my guests from the United Kingdom and the international guests, because we have about 30% of guests from UK and about 10% from the rest of the world. All the other guests are coming from Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and they are here. And in the moment we are fully booked. There is a lot of requests, and so season is running quite fine since July. But of course, that could be over from one day to another. So we are walking on a very, very thin ice, and we know that, and that doesn't give us really a safe and good feeling.
And back in March when this was happening, what was going through your mind? Were you considering laying off employees? How did you manage that? Really, how did it affect your business, and what lessons did you learn from it?
That was very challenging for me, because I'm also the head of the Tyrolean tourist boards. So there are 34 tourist boards all over Tyrol, and Tyrol is one of the most tourist intensive countries in Europe. And so I was in a crisis mode from the beginning of that of the things when they happen, and my family, my children, my wife, and of course my staff, they've been looking after the hotel, and I was a lot on other places, and a lot of discussions, and a lot of decisions had to be made, and that we knew that the lockdown in tourism, which is the major business in our country, is a really big thing, and we had no idea how it will go on. And when we have been very, very optimistic, we thought maybe we survived that year with a minus of 50 to 60%. So that was the optimistic preview. The realistic was about minus 70%, and the pessimistic said the season is over. We don't open again for 2020. And in the moment, we are much better than in our best optimistic scenes.
So Hansi, with this pandemic now currently underway, and your business was closed for a couple months, and you're also the head of the local tourism association. I mean, there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. What are the top one or two lessons that you've learned from this, and how are you going to change your business the way it operates now because of what's happened this year?
Staying close with distance. I don't know if I can. Sorry for my English, but I don't know if that's the right expression. But our business lives from being near, giving hugs, shaking hands, giving emotions, and I know that we do a good job when guests are leaving and say, "We'll see you again." We are the home from home for many of our guests. We have over 70% guests that come more times a year. So all those things are not possible in the moment because you have to keep distance. I mean, in the moment we don't wear masks. Maybe next week we'll have it again. In some parts we have it, in some parts not. What is a real? I could not tell you a lesson that I have learned out of that because I'm still learning. That's not over. We are in the middle of the process.
Get the most out of your career and join our GastroTerra Food Travel Trade Network today. Visit us at gastroterra.org or click join now on our website at worldfoodtravel.org.
You mentioned earlier that you have the best job in the world and you truly love what you do and are very happy. Yeah. Can you tell us what it is about this job that makes it the best in the world? What is it that you do that drives this happiness?
Okay, because I can do so many things. When I want to change something in the hotel or in the business, I just can do it. And then I have a lot of technical things to do. I can work a little bit like an architect. I'm active on the construction sites. We also run a farm, so I have to, when the weather is fine, I'm always outside. I just go to the office when there are really more than 2 or 3 rainy days, and it's not 9 to 5. Every day is a very special one. I meet a lot of interesting people. I have every day a lot of interesting talks, and so many people who have interesting stories which you can take part or not. Those are all those things, and when. But it's the welcome when guests said, entering the door and say, "Oh, we are happy that we are here again," and it's also the warm farewell. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. It's when you have so many different things to do, life doesn't get boring
No,
in a hotel.
no, really not.
And coupled with the freedom to be able to make changes when you see things not going the way they should, it certainly sounds like a wonderful experience. How are you able to bring this happiness to the people who work with you at the hotel?
That's maybe that's what takes most time, or what I give the most time, because if my all the people who are working with me and for me and around me, when they are happy, it's good for me and it's good for us all. So that's why I've always I never say, oh, in the moment I have no time, or later, or I try always to have an ear for everyone's problems.
Hansi, being in the hotel so much, it must be quite special for you to be able to travel and get away from it all. What is your favorite destination for food, and why do you love that destination for food?
Well, my last big journey was on the west coast of Canada. So we sailed from south of Alaska to Vancouver, and of course all the seafood. It was absolutely fascinating to have all that fresh fish, and the international cuisine in Vancouver was very fascinating. But I was also surprised of the high level in New York when I was on the East Coast, which is a longer time ago. But that was the big surprise for me, because I had another idea of food in America. I had the luck that a friend showed me some very good places there, and maybe that was not that was a lucky fortune. Yeah. Another very interesting experience was in a few years ago in Copenhagen. What all was happening around that enormous success from the Noma, and how many other restaurants came out of the ground. And in the moment, I'm in the very, very lucky position to have a new chef. She's 26, and she was working in the Noma in Copenhagen before she came to us, which is really very, very special in the moment. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the food in the region that you're in Austria? What types of, is there something that's very traditional or local, perhaps something that your chef makes that's unique to the region?
Of course, we have local products. The most famous thing of the area is the Speck, which is translated to bacon. That's the eldest form of our fast food, and we have a lot of different cheeses, or a lot of different cheese, because of course there is milk is the main product of our farming. We try to be very, very local, very to have very few kilometers on every food that is delivered to the hotel. But of course we have also to be international, because we have international guests, and guests expect that when they are on holiday that they have some interesting new food experiences.
You mentioned that there are quite a few cheeses that are produced in the region. Can you talk about a couple of them so that we know what the names are and can maybe look for it in the grocery store?
There are two kinds that are very special. The one is the so-called Graukäse, a gray cheese, which is very, very low fat, and that's a cheese that has to be eaten fresh. Fresh means maximum 2 months. And the other cheese is the Bergkäse, mountain cheese, which is a hard cheese that can take 2 and 3 years. And if you have it in the right conditions, the best will be a cave, a stone cave, Felsenkeller, as we say in German.
Great. We'll look for those. Hopefully we can find those here.
So Hansi, when you were talking before about your trip to Western Canada and New York City, I'd like to talk a little bit about the perception of the food and then the reality once you got there. So I imagine you probably had certain ideas of what the food was going to be like, and it was very different. You said you liked the seafood on the west coast of Canada, and you said the food you had in New York was different than what you expected. What did you expect, and how was it different? And were you surprised happily, or were you disappointed?
No, I was surprised happily. I was I expected fast food, a lot of industrial things, convenience food, and I was absolutely surprised of the high quality and the freshness. Before I didn't realize that New York is of course on the Atlantic, and that fresh fish and all kinds of seafood are always on the table of good restaurants. I didn't have that on my radar. That was a surprise for me, and of course the quality of the whole hospitality. That was for me really surprising.
You were talking about the hospitality, American hospitality?
No, in New York, especially in New York, in good restaurants.
Oh, right, okay.
My only experience with America is New York and the Canadian West Coast. So
okay. Well, I guess a lot of people do talk about the service in the United States, and they say that it's quite good because the waiters are working for tips. So maybe that's what you experienced in that situation.
Yes, of course. After tipping the friendliness changed because they needed a table for new best friends. Yeah.
But having said that, Eric, I think that the US is known for its customer service. It's a very customer forward country, more so than many countries, at least that I've visited. And it's certainly something that leaves an impression on people and travelers that come here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hansi, how do you think about hospitality in your hotel?
Well, it should be. So, there is I don't know if in English the sentence is the same. The guest is king. Do you say that the guest is king?
Yes, we say customer is king. Mm-hmm.
Customer is king. Okay, so here in our hotel, the customer is not the king, because if he would be a king, he would have a castle and a lot of servants. Here, the customer is our guest, and we give him all the honor and all the service that we give to a guest. Well, we try to keep the eyes on the same height. In German, it's called Augenhöhe. I don't know the English expression for that, but
eye height, the height of the eyes.
Yeah, eye height. So that's for me very necessary. That the eye height is kept between the guests, our staff, and the family.
I like that. I like that customer is guest, treated more as family than as someone on a high pedestal.
And we have a very we want to have a very honest relationship, and doesn't depend on tip or something else. That's not really a measure for us.
What would you say is the legacy that you would hope to leave behind?
A smile on the face.
For everyone?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
The power of the smile. Smiles are very powerful. We were talking in the last interview that we did, and the lady was talking about how important a smile is, especially when you don't speak the language. All you need to do is smile, and it can change the entire situation.
Yeah, but it should be an honest one.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. A genuine,
Yeah.
authentic smile.
Yeah.
Hansi, what are you reading right now?
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
A Journey Through Italy.
Okay, and what's that about?
It's the story of Italy, how from the past till now, how the country became to that what it is. Because that never was one state.
Have you learned anything fantastic from that book yet?
I'm just on the beginning, on the first 50 pages of, I think, 500 or something like that.
Okay.
And before I was reading also a book about South Tyrol, which is now part of Italy, and it was called Eva schläft, Eve sleeps. Also very, very special, yeah.
Was there a lesson that you learned from that book that you could share with us?
Oh, no, that was just not a lesson for me. I just learned a little bit more of our neighbors. And they're very lucky because they grew up bilingual. They speak fluent German and Italy, and of course everyone now since the last 30 years is learning English, and they are switching between the languages like I changed the gears in the car, and that's very fascinating when a whole country has that possibility. Yeah.
Looking back, if there was something you could tell yourself, a critical piece of advice that you would give yourself, what would that have been?
That it's not necessary to panic or discuss or quarrel about things, because if you're in the right mood, everything is getting good, and there is always a way out, and there is always a solution. It's not necessary to verzagen, to give up. Yep.
You also had a rather funny one. You had mentioned earlier something to the effect of, you wish you had done this more, which was, Hans, do more sports. What did you mean by that?
Yeah. I was not very good to my body, so I'm not really strong. I don't have a good endurance. I'm not a good runner. I do a lot of. I have a lot of hobbies. I love sailing. I love motorcycling. I love snowboarding and all of that stuff. But with maybe when now I've a little bit problems with my spine, and so things could have been better if I would have taken more care of my body. Yeah, and maybe with more sports that would have been better.
Hansi, I share that. I am so bad at sports. I'm great in the kitchen and I'm a great thinker, but when it comes to sports, you do not want me anywhere near a ball or a team of anything, because I can't do it.
Sorry?
We're not that type of person. We're not a sport type person.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
For me not, yeah.
Hansi, thanks so much for taking the time today to talk with us and share a little bit about what makes your life so special, the beautiful setting of your hotel there in the Tyrol region of Austria, your history in the hotel and growing up, and most importantly, what the duck means to you and your family. So thank you again.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure for me and a great honor. Thank you.
Thanks for listening today. The Eat Well, Travel Better podcast is brought to you by the World Food Travel Association, the world's leading authority on food and beverage tourism. Our mission is to preserve and promote culinary cultures through hospitality and travel. By doing so, we empower local communities and entrepreneurs with the knowledge and tools needed to reach new food lovers and gain a competitive edge. Founded in 2003, now each year we shepherd a community of 200,000 professionals in more than 100 countries. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and you can learn more about us, subscribe to our newsletter, and join our family at worldfoodtravel.org. Until next time, eat well and travel better.